If you are watching this on November 18th, 2012, then today is the 5-year anniversary of the very first episode of the Mercury Laboratories. And on this 5th year anniversary, I am giving you the very last video of the Mercury Laboratories on 222 Productions. So we're going to take a look and have a commentary on the very last episode, which is Test 6 Part 3, Escape 6. And I gotta say, taping this stage was quite frankly a mess, and I think it was kind of the worst experience. Just like mentally and physically, I was just drained, and so many mistakes were made. For starters, there was no footage of the obstacles by themselves. I had forgotten to record that, unlike with Stage 1 and Stage 2, and by the time I had realized it was already too late. The obstacles were torn down, so I couldn't shoot it. So what you did get was a footage of me demoing some of the stages, the obstacles in this stage, which really I just did awful in. But with the last obstacle, I didn't have any footage of it. I couldn't use old footage, I couldn't use footage of me. And because if I had showed, footage of 8.0 doing it, that would have been a huge spoiler, so I just did that black screen that you did there. And as for this stage design, I really don't like it. I know I'm sounding awfully negative, but like, this is probably one of the worst ways for this show to end. The only way it'd be worse was if it was Test 5 or 4 were the last ones. The bouncing journey was probably a really stupid idea on my part. I wanted an extra obstacle, which the idea was that you got tired down by doing it. This was not really the best way to do it. It looks silly, it looks stupid. I just couldn't think of something better. It looks stupid. But with the possum tracks, the idea was that with Test 3, you just had to like touch the poles at the end, and that'd be it. And so taller people had an advantage, sort of, in that way. In that, so I made it so that there was like clear, lines for where you start and end. What I hadn't realized until 8.0 did it was just how exploitable that design was. And if I was given another chance with Test 7, it would have been designed completely different, whereas the barriers were at the very beginning and end, where you have to climb over them and then dip down and then dip back up, making it much harder. But the other problem with the design was right here with the execution of 4. There was just so much wrong with this right here. The original design, the idea was that you jump up and grab the bar, and then you hit the button to stop the clock. And then you're supposed to tackle it. The idea is that when you get to the end of the timed portion, unfortunately, Test 6 ends here. You have to, wait out the clock in order to rest. Whatever you have left, that's when you can just rest and do it. But he just kind of reached across, and it's like I never told him otherwise. And for like here with this thing, we didn't decide disqualification until after we had turned off the camera. We kind of just talked about it, and if I had known this was the last one, I would have let him pass, to be honest. So I had to do the footage that way. I'm not happy about it. There was probably other ways I could have edited, maybe like do like a replay in black and white. That would have worked. But the original, I think what really hurt this stage design with the execution of 4 specifically was that there used to be 2 bars on the high bars, but one of them got knocked down, and the original design for Execution of 4 was much better, in my opinion, both to what I wanted to do and probably easier yet like more clear defined as far as execution is concerned, because looking back with the way the execution of 4 that you saw was set up, I'm not sure if that's entirely possible, because that would require you to like edge around these cardboard barriers without breaking them, which is, you know, isn't easy at all. But then you add the fact that that bar spins, and, you know, looking back, I don't know if that obstacle was actually possible. But afterwards, I really wanted to do the credits justice. The credits is actually, whenever I'm editing a show like this, credits is always my favorite thing to do. I just like the way they look. I mean, I like the backgrounds. I like doing the things. It's something I very enjoy doing for some strange reason. I just enjoy the credits, and I wanted to do this special thing at the, you know, special thing. So I came up with the speech at the end with no music, just to kind of make it like seem serious. And then I entered with this music, and I think I'm kind of. It's always kind of like a silver lining with Mercury Laboratory videos when I delay them, is that, like, for some reason, this happened with Test 3 also, but, like, Zero Bass, who I always use for the credits music, and who I'm a big fan of on Newgrounds, he always seems to release a new song, like, just in time for me to use it for the credits. It's pretty funny like that. But, like, with regards to the editing and like the commentary, I kind of regret going that comedy route when he found the exploit. I think with like this being the final episode, I should have gone more serious the entire time. I don't know, I'm sure people would disagree, but that's just kind of my thing looking back. But with this ending here, I really wanted to do something special, so I had this idea of just this grid montage of everything. This is every person. I'm pretty sure just about every run on every stage is represented at least a little bit in this montage. And I think that just represents... I think that's really just a good send-off. And then, like, adding these special thanks that I probably wouldn't have had done if this wasn't the last episode. So I just want to kind of just lay it out there that, like, you know, like, thank you, Chris Ketchum, you know, he's the one who introduced me to those video backgrounds, and just everyone who had supported the series and liked it and enjoyed watching it. Like, even if you didn't enjoy watching it, just the fact that you gave me your time, I appreciate very much. This was, you know, I always wanted to host a game show, and this was my thing. And in a way, you know, this helped my, like, a little dream of mine come true. Will the Mercury Laboratories ever come back? The answer is maybe. I wanted to do this little special ending here because it looks nice, in my opinion. But, you know, kind of like just give like a little, like, I guess, classical sense of finality. But I never want to say that it's truly over, but there's no way for me to bring it back anytime soon. I had considered doing an episode where I just kind of go into detail what the plans were for Test 7, but I think I'm just going to keep that to myself. That I guess that's just kind of what sucks the most about the fact that Test 6 was the final test. You know, like, you know, there's a reason I said Test 3 was my personal favorite, and that's just because, like, you know, so many things just went right. Like personally speaking, so many things went right. But even then, like, you know, looking back, you know, it wasn't the best design in the sense that it was easy. But with Tests 4, 5, and 6, recording them wasn't nearly as fun as Test 1, 2, and 3. it has a lot to do with just the scheduling, the fact that the courses were a lot harder. I don't think we entirely had the sense that we were having as much fun those times around. Tests, I mean, we were having fun. Don't get me wrong, but I never got the sense that we were having as much fun recording those. And with Test 7, I had basically, the plan was to learn from all my mistakes. Because I think the biggest mistake was that with Test 4, I didn't do a lot of planning ahead of time before the semester started. So, instead of recording at what would have been a good time to record, like in, the end of August when the semester starts, that first weekend when people aren't doing as much with, activities and work and stuff like that, that could have been when we were recording the Mercury Laboratories. And that was basically the plan of Test 7. During the summer, I had designed this, mapped out this whole course. I had saved most of my supplies over at, Test Subject 127 was nice enough to hold on to the stuff for me. But then in late July, I had received a message that the site was torn down. And so I had this completed design for Test 7 that I was very proud of and felt very confident in. And I never got to see what it would look like. I never got to see if it would really work. And that's what's really unfortunate about it. I had considered at one point having a special finale season where it was, instead of competitors against the course, it was competitors against each other. Not the best designs for course-wise, to be honest. A part of it was just I really wanted to do more obstacle course stuff, and I had looked for new locations, I had looked for new ideas, and there was just nothing that I could feel really solid with, because I didn't want to make a product that was worse than what I already had. Like a worse location, worse attendance. I didn't want to not enjoy what I was doing, and I just had to let it go, unfortunately. I loved doing the Mercury Laboratories, but I've definitely moved on. If I ever have the chance to do a new obstacle course show, maybe not call the Mercury Laboratories, it might not be in that sort of Sasuke style, I'd love to do it. I don't have the means at the moment to really do something like that, but it's always a possibility. But I'm just glad to finally get this commentary out, just put it to rest. The Mercury Laboratories is now officially behind me. It wasn't perfect all the way, but I don't regret any of it in the long run. Even though, obviously the older stuff, not as well edited, the newer stuff, not as enjoyable results, to be honest. Except for the Test 6, that was pretty good. Results-wise, except for the ending. If there's anyone who plans on doing stuff like this, my biggest advice to you is to really plan out your course ahead of time and to make sure it works. Also, that it's well set out so that they're not running around so that there's way too much running in between the obstacles, because just from a viewing standpoint, that could be really distracting and to the viewer. And if you're going to, and always like do editing. Like editing makes things better, especially for a show like this. Learn your video editor, learn what you can and can't do. If you have the money, I would highly suggest you actually like buy something that's not iMovie or Windows Movie Maker. And most importantly, like have fun doing it. Like make sure you have people run the course who are like genuinely interested in it, because I think that's probably the best part of this entire experience, is that I was able to associate myself with people who genuinely enjoy doing this, even if they were to say lose. It was still very enjoyable. There was like a sense of community running the course, and things could have been better in the later episodes, but overall it was a lot of fun. And I think if you're going to do something like this, that is the most important thing I can tell you, is to enjoy what you do. And as for me, I have new ideas for what I want to do video-wise, and I'm going to set out. I'm going to try to make them the best I can and enjoy doing it. And to everyone who has ever watched my videos, subscribed, and liked them, said nice things about them, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you to everyone at Sasuke Studio 29. Thank you to everyone at the Sasuke Maniacs board. Just, thank you. Anyone who has ever run any of my courses, whether it's Playground Revenge or Mercury Laboratories, without you guys especially, this show, these videos wouldn't have been possible. It wouldn't have happened, plain and simple. And I appreciate that very much. But for now, for the last time, this is William talking about the Mercury Laboratories, and I'm signing out. Goodbye.